at least for like people's personal remodels, sometimes you do those while they're on vacation. I love that idea. I'm like,
Yeah.
we need to plan that with you to do our bathroom remodels while we're going on vacation. And I think it's just a great idea. Like nobody wants to live in that environment when it's all torn up and everything. Do you do those quite often like that?
Yeah, we're on two of them right now, actually, and that the plan.
Welcome to Investor Spotlight. We're excited today to have someone who's a little different area in the real estate world, Jon Black, and he specializes in remodeling. So if you're, got a rental property and you need to fix it up, he specializes in baths, but he does all kinds of things, and he has a ton of knowledge that he wants to share with you today. How are you, Jon?
I'm doing well, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Yeah. You're in Arizona, which is where we live, but we're in Florida right now on a little vacation. So I'm glad that we could connect today. This is perfect. And learn a little bit more about what you do and how you can help people out. Now, you said that, we were talking about some of the people you've helped, and you said sometimes the best way to help someone is by not doing anything at all. Can you explain that? What is that?
Sure. Yeah, Tim, we've had the good fortune of working with a couple of investors in this space. But quite frankly, most of the time we go out to a property, we're actually pointing out some of the potential issues that you know they may not see because they're
Mm.
honed in on a specific use case, and we're going to, in some ways, call the baby ugly, and point out different situations where we are going to need other fixes in order to address a potential upgrade that they want to make, or just a simple fix turns out to be, well, quite a bit more than that. And so
Mm.
we're and we're looking inside, we're looking outside. We're a licensed general contractor, able to speak to those things generally, and we want to see people succeed. So sometimes that
Well,
talks people out of the job.
I was going to say, I think some people think, oh, I'm just save a few bucks. I'm just going to do it myself. And maybe for some smaller things that makes sense. I mean, if you're changing a faucet, okay.
Sure.
But why would somebody want to have a licensed general contractor like yourself come in and do the work?
So what we, as a licensed general contractor, we offer generally peace of mind solutions. Essentially, you give us a bathroom. Well, that involves plumbing, electrical, could be framing, could be exhaust, mechanical. When you're involving multiple trades, sometimes it's a little bit hard to get the sequencing right because you do one thing and then you didn't realize how it impacted something else down the line. And so you
Yeah.
end up doing double work. So what a general contractor does is they know the proper sequencing, and so yes, they add a layer of cost, but they also had save you from additional costs that you might not have had to spend. Um, and also, like you were mentioning earlier, like we don't have to do, maybe some investors like to be the general contractor themselves, and that's fine with relates to paint and maybe drywall, carpeting, things of that nature. Or sometimes they want to install LVP, and that's fine. Go for it. Those are non-structural situations in the house, generally done kind of last. But when you're dealing with mechanical, electrical, plumbing, structural, that's where we can be really helpful in the sequencing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the bigger things definitely need to be done right. Or, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, you might have to redo them either right away, which would really be expensive, or even in the short run versus long run. If you do things right, they're going to last, right? So,
Right. And think about, I mean, obviously, the use cases is to fix, to flip, to resell, and to, worst case scenarios that you spent all this money in a remodel, in the fix, and then the home inspector comes before the person who's buying it, and they go, here's the person who installed this missed this, and this, and now your seller, or no, I'm sorry, now your buyer is asking for concessions, and
right.
that, and if it would have just taken someone who knew the proper sequencing, or knew the proper way to install something to avoid that issue, and now you're not having to haggle, or at least you give them something else to haggle about, and
Mhm.
not give them a specific point on the property to look at. So
Yeah,
That's
and that's good. That's good because you don't want to lose some of your profit because you didn't do it right, and now you have to give concessions, like you said, for sure.
or it
One of
just
the other things
delays
to
the time on
remember,
market.
yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, because now you got to get these fixes done before you can even properly market it, right? So that totally makes sense. I remember when we
Yeah.
talked before, you had mentioned, at least for like people's personal remodels, sometimes you do those while they're on vacation. I love that idea. I'm like,
Yeah.
we need to plan that with you to do, our bathroom remodels while we're going on vacation. And I think it's just a great idea. Like nobody wants to, live in that environment when it's all torn up and everything. Do you do those quite often like that?
Yeah, we're on two of them right now, actually, and that the plan is they leave us the key. It actually, so it does a couple of things.
Yep.
Allows our guys to start earlier, work longer. We're responsible for the property while we're on it. We're going to try and we're going to have um, proper uh, visuals on site so people can see who's there, what they're doing. But
Hmm.
ultimately, the goal is to leave it as a gift, right? For the people who are doing their, it come back. They left in one way, and now it comes back. It's all done. And
Okay, so one other question I had for you, John, was, I know that your focus is bathrooms and remodeling that. Obviously, that's a huge piece because I know for us, we're looking to update our house that we're going to turn into a rental, and that's the first thing we think of is changing the bathroom. But just from your background and your experience, I'm sure there's investors out there that would like to know what would be the one thing, maybe beside the bathroom, that you would say would give a real estate investor the best ROI, without breaking the bank? Like, if you were to change something else about a house besides the bathrooms, what would you recommend?
that's a great question, Tim. And the thing I would point out, besides the bathrooms and potentially the kitchens, which is the two areas of specialty, is actually the curb appeal. Look at the
Oh, wow.
landscaping in the front yard,
Yeah.
and look at the landscaping in the front and the back patios. People eat with their eyes, so the first thing that they see kind of gives them an expectation for what's going to be inside the house. And so our thought process, as far as helping people there, investors, is to kind of clean things up, make sure that obviously the weeds are not there, but sometimes you can add a little bit of floral, decorations that are really pretty much ready to go from some of these bigger nurseries, and that can be a great, like, eye-popping curb appeal moment that really enhances the value of the home, because you're either that home or just another home. And in this market,
Yeah.
uh, you really need to be uh, that home, and that those situations that are well priced and just have that eye catching are really going to be the ones that either move or are the ones that get rented because people have to have them.
That's great. No, I appreciate that. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, first impressions are so important. And when people look at a property, that's the first thing they see, and if it looks like trash, they're gonna be like, I don't even want to see the inside, right? So that's good. That's good advice. Well, great. Well, I appreciate your insights here. If you were to give, I don't know, one piece of advice to somebody who is looking to do a remodel, whether it's an investment property or their own personal property, what is the one piece of advice you'd give them going into something like a remodel?
That's a great question. So the advice that we give them is, um, you know, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So buy quality materials, work with a great contractor, or whether um, it's a general contractor or just one of the subcontractors. Look for the guys who are licensed, bonded, insured. Yes, they're going to potentially cost a little bit more, but they're also they're going to save you a little bit more too. So I think that the value add is going to be, and they're most likely to be that professional. They're not going to ghost you in the middle of the project. If you give them the opportunity to bid it right, get a good number on there. You're going to get someone who's highly motivated to see the process from one side to the end, and again, get that home on market so that you can get your investment back out.
Absolutely. You get what you pay for, right? So
A
yeah, if
little
you're
bit.
willing to pay a little more up front, you'll get the quality, that you're looking for. So
Certainly do your 3 bids. That'll help. Yep.
there you go. That's another, yeah. Don't just ask one person, get some bids,
No.
find out what their experience level is, and do your due diligence. That's awesome. Well, hey, John, if people wanted to get a hold of you to do some work for them in the Phoenix greater area, or just to pick your brain, maybe ask you, hey, is this reasonable? Like, this seems expensive, whatever, since you have experience with that, how can they get in touch with you?
That's great. Thank you for the opportunity, Tim. It's been a great visit today. I'm available at email, john@azbathmasters.com. Our phone number is 480-709-6442. You want to look on our website, azbathmasters.com. It's got a gallery of our previous materials, our previous projects, got kind of our process. And yeah, I'd love to connect with anybody who wants to learn more about our process, how we could potentially be a help to them. And we don't even, whether you're in the Phoenix area or not, send me pictures. We'll do FaceTime. We can do consultations remote. We're an AI first company, so we do that.
That's great. That's great. I mean, even if they are in the valley, nice to have that remote ability there as well. So thank you so much, John. It was a pleasure having you on Investor Spotlight today. And I know we'll see you back in Phoenix very soon. So have a great rest of your day.
Absolutely, Tim. Safe travels, man.
Thanks, man. All right, well, that'll do it for this episode of Investor Spotlight. I hope you got some value out of that. If you did, go ahead and click the subscribe button, and we will see you next time.